coming up on At Your Leisure.
I'm Skyller.
And I'm Heather.
We're out here in southwestern Colorado,
wheeling with Dirty Adventure Crew and Western Slope four-wheelers.
I'm Scott Huntsman. Hey, at 21 Rubicon JL Wrangler, I'm gonna do a Quake Fender Chop today. Stay tuned.
And I'm Will Oxley. Utah Senator Mike Lee has introduced a bill which aims to help those who depend on motorized recreation to access their public lands.
Wow, babe, is this the Swiss Alps?
No, dear, this is Colorado.
Okay.
Welcome to At Your Leisure. I'm Skyller Dykstra.
And I'm Heather Dykstra. Today we are out exploring the gorgeous San Juan Mountains of Colorado. We had an opportunity to come out last year and we just could not wait to get back.
It is so great to get out of the heat. These trails up here are just amazing. There's so many sights to see. Today we are just having the most amazing time today.
Today we're running Poughkeepsie Gulch. We started down in Mineral Basin and kind of worked our way through that bumpy area and then on to Poughkeepsie, and then right now we're at the wall, so it's a little bit more challenging in this area. But overall it's a great trail, probably one of the harder ones in this area, and just always a pleasure to be on out here. It's a family group. Actually, it's my family's group. So we started it just because our family has a whole bunch of Jeeps and off-road vehicles. We wanted to keep track of what we're doing and schedule things. And then we started inviting all our friends.
So today we are in Colorado. We are taking our adventures on Poughkeepsie Trail. And it's so beautiful and there's so many flowers out here. I love it. It's been really fun. I have not done the shell rock like that before, so that was interesting. The only obstacle that creeped me out was this very last one coming up around that rock. It's just fun. I love being outside. I love my Jeep. I am fairly new to this, so it's really fun to go and learn and just try things. Sometimes you make it, sometimes you don't. So far, I haven't done anything extreme. I don't have lockers, so I don't know if I would attempt anything I would need lockers. So far, it's been great.
We're out here enjoying the beautiful San Juan Mountains today.
Yep, there are just so many gorgeous things you can see just right off trail. For example, this amazing waterfall.
So while we resist the urge to jump in this waterfall, why don't you guys go check out our first story.
Hey everybody, I'm Scott Huntsman. I'm at my Tunex Shop in South Jordan. I've got my customer Tom brought me his beautiful JL Wrangler Rubicon. Look at the color of this. I absolutely love it. I think I want one of these. We are doing just a boatload of accessories onto this Jeep. TerraFlex CT suspension, got the Falcon shocks, got their steering components, relocated the license plate, spare tire, LOD bumpers. We are just going full tilt in. Anyway, one thing we are going to do is we're going to increase some tire clearance by doing a fender chop. We're going to do a fender chop using a new LED light bracket from Quake LED. This is going to be super cool. Let's get started. There are a lot of aftermarket fender flare options for Jeep. Some really open up the capability of getting a larger wheel and tire and getting better up travel without making contact with these. So we have all kinds of choices, but I do like the look of the original fender flares. What we're going to do is just get rid of the lower section of it. So we're actually really not going to cut or chop anything. We're just going to remove this part, but we'll start out with just removing the fender flare. It's kind of noisy and you just got to get it started. We're going to say out with this right now. So after removing that outer fender liner, this new inner fender liner from Wolfstorm is a great inexpensive, good quality product that's going to finish off the inside of the fender well with this nice flat texture black coating. That's going to give that a really nice backing, and it allows for the Falcon shock to visibly be seen brand new from Jeep. You're just taking the inside away from the outside. Inner fender flare, outer fender flare. Now, all these tabs have to be removed. And this one is ready to install. Let's install it on the rear. Okay, so I've removed the bolts and I've unplugged the wire harness. So just like the rear, we just got to get the clips out of the fender and we remove that assembly. So this is our new light assembly for the front. As you can see, it's a very thin design. It's a durable design. The Quake LED is a molded lens assembly and not a 3D printed light assembly. So it's got a lot more UV capability to it. And it's a very heavy gauge metal. This is going to fold on, and this is now going to be the support for the front fender. Really nice sequential operation of the turn signal. And this is also the daytime running lights. You have the monotube shock. I think it looks great, but I like the fact that Falcon offers that reservoir, so I want to open this up and allow to visually see that. There we go. Hey everybody, project complete. Now, I could not be happier with the result of this. Look at how good this fender chop turned out. I really like it. It turned out good. You know, when I do these, I treat these Jeeps as if really they were my own. And I love the color of this Jeep. Honestly, I can't look at my red one the same now. I am so in love with this color. For Tom, this is gonna be ready to go. If you got questions, Scott@AYLTV.com. Make sure you email me. I'll answer them as quick as I can. Stay tuned, more at your leisure in a moment.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. I'm Heather with Dirty Adventure Crew, and we are out here exploring some beautiful trails in southwestern Colorado. We're having an amazing time. We're seeing fantastic scenery, and there are some darling small towns in the area that make it super accessible.
Yep, we're all from Ouray, and this is pretty much kind of like our backyard here in Colorado. And as you can see, the scenery is awesome, trails are awesome, people are awesome. It's been great, you know, and this is probably one of our tougher trails right here at Poughkeepsie, but a lot of fun. And maybe as we'll see later, they'll start climbing the wall right here, which will be awesome. You know, you really can't beat the scenery, you know, and the weather is pretty much awesome, not super hot.
The history in these mountains is unbelievable. There's mining claims and all kinds of buildings and whatnot that you can explore. And it's just pretty great for history of how the miners dealt with these roads and these mountains back in the day. It's just amazing what they went through to make it to work every day. So we have Jeeps, they had wagons and mules, so it was a lot different for them.
Yeah, there's just a lot to see out here. Every day, every year, you see something different that you didn't notice before. Most all the small towns out here are all mining towns, like Telluride, Silverton, Ouray, obviously, yeah, and
Animas Fork,
and there's
Ironton.
Yep.
A lot of small mining towns. that have turned into resort towns or tourist towns. So there's stuff for people to come visit this area. There's no lack of food. There's no lack of stores. It's just a great place to visit.
Just meeting all the new people, and we've probably joined 3 or 4 new groups this year just so we can all get out and get together and do this. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it's the camaraderie, the friendship, the helpfulness of each member. You know, they're more than willing to help you out of a jam, and vice versa. You're out there wanting to help them too. So.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. I'm Heather.
I'm Skyler. We are out here today in the San Juan Mountains with Dirty Adventure Crew and the Western Slope Four-Wheelers. The Western Slope Four-Wheelers is a great local club to go out with. They open Poughkeepsie every year. They use manpower with shovels to clear the snow to get up the trail, which I think is just amazing.
It's awesome, and they are so passionate about the area, taking care of the trails, making sure everyone recreates responsibly. Just a great group of people, and we're happy to have met them.
Yes, and one thing to remember when you're out here is always stay on the trail, and you do not want to get onto the tundra.
It's only open for a limited time in the summer, so you'll see a lot of people running out here. Once 4th of July hits and the snow starts melting, we're part of a local club here called the Western Slope Four-Wheelers. Every year we come out, we open this trail, pick up trash, remove snow. That's not the fun part, but running the trail's fun. And then we close it at the end of the year and pick up trash again. We do little fundraisers in town. We have a staging area out off of one of the local trails here, the Rim Rocker Trail. And every now and then the club will go out there. We do training days. We go over winching. We have a course that they maintain and kind of keep up. So side-by-sides, four-wheelers, everyone's welcome out there with the club. If you come to this area, the big thing is the tundra. They have a limited growth time, so it's only a few months for them to, seed up, flower, and die off. So when you're up here, just mind the vegetation, try and stay off the tundra, stay the trail. That's a big thing up here. Just keep yourself on the trail. If you have to pass or go off the trail, you're allowed 1 vehicle length, so keep it to that and then get back right on the trail. Out here, you're up in the high alpine, above 10,000 feet, all the way to 13,000, most of the trails. So you really have to take it easy, catch your breath, and just enjoy the scenery. That's probably the biggest obstacle up here is the scenery. You got to watch the road. If you stop and take a look at it, but big thing is we get a lot of people just admiring the scenery and driving right off the road. I was in the Air Force. I'm used to convoys and kind of leading people through areas. So it kind of comes natural to lead the troops through the trail. So it's about the same as that. So it reminds me of the military time, and it's just fun experiencing this and bringing people out to experience it also.
So one of the really cool things about local clubs is they most often adopt trails. And so what that means is they'll go out and they'll do trail cleanup. Sometimes they even cut the trail, open the roads up for the summer, and just do a lot of work to maintain them. But one of the things I love the most about the groups is that they will often teach you how to recreate responsibly. So whether you're new to off-roading or it's been a while or you've just never gone out with a club before, we encourage you to check out your local groups. There's most often going to be more than one. So if you have the time, get out, meet them. You'll get a chance to meet great folks, learn information, and just have a great time out on the trails. Well, in the meantime you're doing that, go ahead and check out our second story.
Utah State Senator Mike Lee recently worked with the Blue Ribbon Coalition to create a bill enshrining access for people with disabilities into natural areas. The proposed bill would require federal agencies to evaluate motorized access to an area with consideration to Americans with disabilities, those who might not have the physical capability to get out into the backcountry.
My organization represents hundreds of thousands of Americans across the nation, and every time we get announcements of road and route closures on public land, we hear from our disabled members that they feel discriminated against by that they can no longer now go access places that they really only could access with motorized recreation. And so we heard that problem enough times that we took it to Senator Mike Lee's office and said, what do you think we could do to solve this problem? Because we had taken these challenges to court. We just weren't successful. So we decided if we could codify those protections into law, that would give important protections to these Americans with disabilities.
I've been dealing with land use issues for the last 20 years, from the time I lived in Moab to now living out here in the hurricane area. And that's one of the things that's always been so important for me as a disabled individual, because so many people, I think, take for granted their ability to get out and to go walk, or to go mountain bike, or to go ride a horse, or to go, just wander around at their leisure in outdoor recreational opportunities. And for those of us that don't have that opportunity, that are limited by our mobility or limited to our access of some type of motorized vehicle, being able to have access to the outdoors is an invaluable thing.
You know, it's been years and years of conversation and litigation, and this topic has come up over and over and over, and amazingly has been ignored.
Well, this has a big effect on clubs like ours. We have about 250 to 300 members on any given year, and most of them are between the ages of 60 and 90. So as you can imagine, a high percentage of those have disabilities or in some way limited from hiking and backpacking into the backcountry.
Mason was born with cerebral palsy, and he hasn't let it slow him down though. He still gets out and gets in the RZR with us, and comes out and goes on these rides with us. And the only thing we have to do is just a little more prepared for the rides and bring things you need. But anybody can do it with a disability, can get out and ride.
It's amazing how good it is for me personally to get out and to be able to recreate and to be out in the outdoors in my Jeep. The amazing calm it brings me to be able to be out in nature, the ability to be able to commune with nature and to be able to have that opportunity that in so many areas I wouldn't be able to have. You know, my time in Moab, I was there for almost 14 years, and I got so tired of seeing all these trails closed and limited access, which basically meant for those of us that are disabled that couldn't walk or mountain bike, well, that means you can't ever go there.
This bill would require 2.5 miles of authorized roads for every square mile of public land. If passed, it will not affect the 1.9 million acres of Utah wilderness, because by definition, wilderness areas have no roads. This legislation is less about creating new roads and more about keeping access open to roads which already exist.
This will enable disabled and elderly citizens to be able to access public lands via motorized vehicles that are currently being closed.
As outdoor recreation becomes more popular, all the different user groups are finding ways to accommodate this. The mountain bike trails, they're starting to look at like adaptive mountain biking. The e-bikes have opened up a whole new form of disability access for people who have kind of aged out of being able to aggressively mountain bike without the assistance of that electric motor. You're seeing a lot of innovation in the outdoor recreation space. It's a culmination of all those things is why this legislation is coming to the forefront now. I would say there's not a need for a loophole, but there's a huge deficiency. And they are not required to analyze the impact of their decisions on Americans with disabilities. Americans with disabilities are a protected class under the law and under the Constitution. And so we think it's important that they do consider this and that they have statutory rights codified into American law that spell out how they can do that meaningfully.
If this is a bill you want to see passed, be sure to contact your legislator and urge them to support the Outdoor Americans with Disabilities Act.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. Today we are just about at the end of our trail. We ran Poughkeepsie Gulch. This is a Jeep Badge of Honor. If you don't know about these, you can go online and download the Jeep Badge of Honor app to your phone, and it tracks your progress on different trails. And when you complete them, they send you this badge that you can stick on your Jeep. So while I stick this on my Jeep, why don't you go check out next week's show?
Hey, thanks, Skyller. Next week, Rhea and I are meeting up with Captain Ray down at North Lake Powell Adventures. He is going to show us something about the town of Tickaboo that almost nobody knows about. Some exciting changes that you as recreationists will want to be a part of. Then, Reese Stein is in search of the best fish ever, and it's going to take him to Mill Hollow Reservoir to spend the day with DWR showing you all that this great area has to offer. Finally, how about an under-hood onboard welder? We'll take a look at the install and review on this one-of-a-kind welding system with Phil Rollins. Now, let's take a look at our calendar of events. First up, September 14th, our journey takes us back to the annual event at Torrey, Utah, as we keep the September 11th Memorial Ride alive. Every year, we team up with the folks at Stedman's for the Ride to Remember, the Red, White, and Road of 2024. You'll be treated to gourmet hamburger dinners from Eat a Burger. Oh, it's the best stuff in the world. Then, September 19th and 20th is the Manti Mountain Fall Run, which is a great way to get your machine out on the famous Arapeen Trail System. Visit MantiATVRun.com for more information. And don't forget to visit our events page at AYLTV.com to stay up to date on all the great jamborees and off-road and outdoor events that happen throughout the year.
Next week's show looks great. We've had a beautiful time out here exploring the amazing San Juan Mountains.
If you haven't gotten out here yet to see these trails, it is definitely a must. We want to thank Western Slope Four-Wheelers for coming out with us today, and Dirty Chuckawalla for leading the trail. There's adventure around every bend.
All you have to do is get out and find your own adventure.
At your leisure.